probably the first thing has to be a willingness to be great. You have to have a desire. There's got to be some sense of purpose. And then in terms of translating that sense of purpose and getting it through to the frontline people that are actually going to be serving your customers, I think there are really three things. The first thing is this vision of what you want it to be. Then you've got to have some strength of leadership. You've got to have an ongoing commitment to this, and you've got to be able to communicate it to everyone.
So it's an ethos.
So it is an ethos, but it's got to be something you've got to want to be there. And I find it sort of quite fascinating in that they say that a big business is just a small business that did the right things. I think that every business has the right to choose what it's going to do and how it's going to do it. So there are lots and lots of variables. They can vary the price, they can vary the quality, the speed of delivery, the service offering, and I think everybody has that right to choose. But the problem for most small businesses is that they don't make a choice. So they launch themselves into business without really thinking through, where is it that we want to end up? What's our end game? What do we want to be known as? And by virtue of that sort of lack of focus, they end up trying to be a customer to everyone, trying to please everyone, no matter what their own individual customer requirements are or their purchasing needs and so on. And really it ends up as a bit of a mess. And so I think the first thing really that a small business needs to think about is, where do we want to be? Do we want to be a premium service provider? Do we believe that giving great service will give us the business results that we need? Because there are some businesses that don't give great service and still succeed, and there are some that give extraordinary service and fail. So it's not always quite as cut and dried as you might think.
Can you give us a couple of examples of really good customer service companies that do get it right?
Well, I've got some personal favourites, and most of them tend to be businesses that have come from either a family type situation, or they're under control of perhaps just one or two individuals. So my lifetime favourites have always been places like Richer Sounds and Pret-a-Manger, and now those are quite big businesses, but they weren't always big businesses. They started with an idea and a single outlet, a single shop, and then they've gradually expanded. So they've built on that reputation and they've made a real success out of it. And you can see that there are different elements to how they give great service, really. So sometimes it's about just making it easy for the customer to buy from them. But there are other occasions when it's actually depth of understanding and being really able to see things from a customer's point of view that perhaps makes the difference. And then of course you could look at some of the very glamorous sort of examples, perhaps somewhere like the Dorchester Hotel, where it really is a wonderful experience to go there, but that's really at another level, and probably a bit beyond the scope of most small businesses.
But then again, I mean, it is about the customer experience. And small businesses can do that too. They can make the experience pleasant. You've mentioned convenience, for instance.
Yeah.
You've mentioned understanding, having a real understanding of what the customer needs. But you can think about, let's deliver out of ordinary hours, out of work hours, or let's deliver on the way home, or small things that can make a difference.
Well, I think that's a particularly interesting point you make there, because in thinking about those extra things that you can do, you're starting to think about it from the customer's point of view. Now, often I think that we make the mistake in terms of customer service of saying, let's treat our customers the way that we would wish to be treated. But actually what we really need to do is to treat them the way that they would wish to be treated. So for me, for instance, there will be times when I'm in a real hurry and I want to get something done really, really quickly, and I want somebody that can respond, and I'm maybe happy to buy on the internet and just click and I know it's going to arrive and that's all that I need. But there will be other occasions when I really want a bit more of an understanding of what I'm buying or some advice. And on those occasions, what I really need is the individual that's dealing with me to get into my shoes and see it from my point of